Do you have any regrets about those decisions?
Yes.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another epic gripping video. I'm joined with the wonderful Many, and today we are talking about
the dark part of East Germany.
In fact, it's so dark that me and Many will be spending this evening talking about this topic with our drinks.
That's how deep it's gonna get.
Yeah, so cheers, Many.
Cheers, here we go.
Ka-ching! Yeah, to unapologetic. So that's how deep it's going to be, guys. So deep, we're going to be having to get us through this video. A little bit about Many. He is a true German, born and bred. Spent most of his time in Hamburg. His only connection to East Germany is his I spent quite a few times in East Germany to perform. I'm a performer. So that's the only reasons I was out there. That's why me and Many was able to connect on this level and talk about this topic. There is a lot to be discussed, so let's just dig in. Right, it's so deep, I'm just gonna have a drink before we start.
I'm in.
So, one thing that made me want to talk about East Germany, guys, is when I was out there, it was a completely different energy change. At the time, I was living in Berlin. I spent a lot of time performing in Berlin, and then I got an invite to perform in Potsdam. And I was really excited, and when I was telling people that I'd be going to Potsdam, not everybody was sharing that same enthusiasm. I got told a lot,
oh, be careful,
Potsdam, you're going alone.
And I'd be like, yeah, but I didn't understand. Yeah, I've been to Frankfurt, I've been to Hamburg, amazing time. So I didn't understand what this energy shift was all about. I jumped on the train and made my way. And then I would say maybe I didn't even need to see signs that I was in Potsdam.
I just knew.
It was just a complete energy change. More stares, more than usual, just more tension. A lot of just like, no time for you sort of thing. Today, Many will be helping us discover why that energy is there, what this whole tension is about, how it originated.
And it's so deep, so before we start, I'm about to have myself another one.
I'm in as well. Potsdam is a part of Berlin. It's still, it was former a part where the king was residing as well. But Potsdam has a completely different background because it's certainly a part of it is still a part of the former East. To know as a background, Germany was divided after World War II in two parts. The eastern part was basically ruled and organized by the Russian Federation, and it was a kind of communistic area compared to the western part, what was controlled by the British, French, and American. So the western part was. We even had in the hardest time, that was in, I don't want to lie now, because I think it was 58, when there was built a wall between the east and the western part. And Berlin was always like a little part. There was a long way through, like the highway to Berlin, and the rest around was all eastern part. And half of the city was belonging to the east, to the old DDR, what was called Democratic Republic, German Democratic Republic, Deutsche Demokratische Republik. That's why DDR. So it's a little bit weird in the international explanation, but. That was the background of the whole thing. And the people in this area were grown up for 44 years before the reunion in a kind of communistic education. They had to learn as a first language Russian and this kind of stuff. In the western part, we were orientated, first language accordingly where you're living. For example, where I was growing up, my first language was Latin. but we were orientated to the West. So our main language or living language was English and French as the first languages. You had very nationalistic movements in the eastern parts. What you would not expect, because the people supposed to get educated in a way, thinking communistic, socialistic, they turned exactly in the opposite way around in the political thinking. And as well, there was exchange in this time in the Eastern countries, like exchanges with, let's say, communistic friendship countries from Africa, from Vietnam, from Asia, China as well. And this exchange, you would expect, would give the people a more open mind. You had really dark areas where you would not recommend any obviously not German ethnic to go there. I had myself, like in the 90s, mid-end 90s, for example, I supposed to organize some shootings in the eastern part. It was fashionable, it was all fresh there, but people told me like, sorry, please look in your team, everybody's looking German. And I was super surprised in this time, because this was for me something completely new. You know, I was mostly living in Hamburg, what is an open city, international city. And people told me like, oh, when you're going in the East and you have to do a job there, make sure your team is not having any other ethnics. And that was, the real thing behind.
What year was this, sorry?
That was in 96 to 99, basically.
Wow.
In this year, producing in not really long ago. And it continues. Basically, this was like mid-end of the 90s, when I was going to have a job in basically the background, or the story was supposed to be in the eastern part of Germany as a background for a commercial. And several people around me told me like, don't take anybody with a different ethnic with you to the eastern part of Germany. And we were talking about, like the Baltic Sea area. And I was like really, really, really surprised. Like that's just a weird situation where you feel like, why are you telling me this? And especially as well when there are different ethnics. Especially because in Hamburg we have, we call it St. Pauli. St. Pauli is a kind of, and as well the St. Pauli football club. It's very open and nobody cares what skin color you have. It's like when this football club from the eastern part was coming over, there was always a fight. And it ends up with police and riots and all this kind of stuff. And exactly in this area, I was supposed to make this kind of commercial. And in the end of the day, I had to make a decision. I had to make the decision, like do I go with my regular team? Then I'm in trouble, because I had several people with a dark skin color. So I had no choice. I had to say like, sorry, I have to choose another team. All the guys were Germans, even when their ethnic and origin was somewhere different. But they're all Germans. They all had a German passport, so nothing to worry about. Yeah. But these people in this area would worry about in this time. And I wish in future this I wish in future people don't have to make this kind of decisions anymore.
Do you have any regrets about those decisions?
Yes. Honestly, today I would not get myself in this situation again. I would go with my team, and I would make sure my team is coming back with me without harm and without trouble. I was trying to go the most easy way, I guess. But that's exactly the situation. I heard from many people who went deeper in the East. You know, like my really ancestors. My family name is Heinitz, and this is a little village close to Dresden. That's the same like my family name. Even like I mentioned, it looks beautiful. From the first point of view, you have like old castles. You have Dresden, amazing city, and I would say Dresden. I would not put into the whole thing and into the whole picture. You have, I think, as a not German-looking person, you will have difficulties. I'm pretty sure about that. And not to offend anybody there as well, but some people never went anywhere else in the world apart from their village. And it's nothing what is wrong with them, but it is like this. That's a fact, and that's a situation. And this makes people uncomfortable, especially when you obviously you're having a different skin color. You are in many places not really welcome. That's something what as a German, I feel not comfortable about this, because when I want to represent my country, I feel not well when I know I cannot invite people basically where my ancestors coming from. You know, this feels not right.
I was just visiting and I felt I couldn't wait to leave.
The worst case scenario what we had, especially from the end of the 90s till in the end of the 2000s, was like there was a terroristic organization. It was not a big organization, but still people who were organizing to get people even killed for being different. You know, like especially they focused on you know, we have a lot of immigrants from Turkey and from other Middle Eastern countries, but especially Turkey, because we have many Turkish guest workers coming in the 70s, 80s, and bring their families later on and get integrated in the country and so on. You will find mainly in every village or town, you will find a Turkish restaurant, and that's quite colorful. You know, like you have doner kebab and all this kind of stuff. Even when you ask young kids nowadays in the big cities, they will tell you doner kebab is a German dish because it's popular everywhere. When you go, especially in the east part, and this was a focus of this terroristic organization, what was organized by basically 3 guys and executed by 3 guys, but they had support, and this is the scary thing. After the whole thing got blown up and we knew about the background of this, what happened there, they killed, I cannot tell you the exact numbers, but around 12 people. And it's scary to see this in a country where you think like police is well organized, the whole inner security is well organized. And when people like this can operate nearly a decade without getting catched and really kill in a row 12 people, that's like mass murdering. You know, like imagine a mass murder is sitting in one city. It's the same thing, basically.
Yeah. It's all protected by the state. It's all undercover, and they get media coverage. Deep.
That's super scary, and especially when you think about it, it's still there in the mindset of the people, and people still following up in the ideas from this time, but they put it in a completely wrong way according to this what it was. It was a communistic socialistic system, and what they turn it into is like a nationalistic thinking. What is completely weird according to anybody's experience, the feeling, the tendency, what you see there is exactly in the opposite way, and that's exactly what you experienced, what you felt.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the terrorist group, was it called Nationalist Social
Union?
Okay. But yeah, you said the neo-Nazis were supporters of this group.
The word Nazi is quite difficult to explain. You know, like even I heard when I was a kid, I heard my grandfather call my daddy a Nazi, but this was just about their political thinking and about their political experience, let's say like this. This was not like a straightforward thing. What you would call a Nazi is like people who are narrow-minded and thinking in their own mindset that they don't want to see foreigners in their surrounding. They're worried that their jobs getting taken away by people who come into the country and stuff like that. In the really far east part of Germany, it's called Zittau. It's like a three-country corner. There's Germany, Poland, and Czech Republic. The people I met there, they dressed very specific. One of the guys who studied in this city told me like, oh, you know, I'm not right-wing, I'm not a Nazi, but I don't want to get beaten up. That's why I'm wearing this.
Wow.
This keeps me away from getting in trouble. And that's really deep.
So deep, okay. Yeah. Because I'm thinking, I'm making a correlation. That's crazy.
And exactly the worst thing about this is, like I said, it's a three-country corner. You know, there's Poland next door. Poland was occupied, when you look back in history, was one of the first countries. World War II was taken over by the Germans or by the German Nazis in a few days. I think the advantage, sorry to say, but I'm white, and I was like for them not the real enemy maybe they expected. You know, even I was not conform with them, they would not directly fight me. But when I would come with a dark skin or with a strange accent or whatsoever, I think maybe it would look completely different. But the end of the story is like...
I need another drink.
Basically, when you are not conformed to their thinking, you are a traitor. You know, like that's the basic thinking of this kind of people. Because the government will put you somewhere, you know, like where's the empty space, whatsoever. And suddenly you're sitting in East Germany, in a little town, and you're not welcome. But what happens, or what happened before in the East, or in the eastern part, was like people were lining up in front of the place, you know, with candles, or even making fire, or even fighting, shouting in front of this place. And the poor people inside, they don't know what happened. You know, they just arrived to Germany, maybe coming from a war country and whatsoever. And suddenly they are shouting people in front of the window. And these people get scared, you can imagine. Now, yeah, it's a crazy move. What is in the moment going on as well in Europe and Germany. You know, we were focusing on Germany. but I hope, or I wish, my oldest boy is growing up in Berlin now. He's studying there, and you know, in his surrounding, you know, he's really multicultural. Not like the people who are telling there. No, but he's really in the society there. He loves the people who are surrounding him. So I have the feeling the generation after us, hopefully, is doing the right thing and is going the right way, and don't have this kind of hesitation. That's a funny thing, by the way, about this following the law. That's typical German. Overruled thinking,
Yeah.
and not finding the right balance.
Yeah.
We have one gentleman who has a Turkish background, and he's finally at the Ministry of Environmental Protection or something like that. And so we have a minister with a non-German background. I think he's doing a real good job, and I hope.
I'm gonna drink, okay? Mainly because you'll be surprised. So let's just hope. Fingers crossies.
We do that.
Let's second that.
Okay.
This is gonna be my last shot.
I guess mine as well.
Well, it's been such a great conversation. And to truly wrap up, what would you say the true solutions are?
I think people have to follow their guts and do what they think it's necessary. Like I mentioned before, the people I met there who told me, like, they're doing this not to get in trouble, same like me, as a young me.
There we have it. Berlin is amazing. Berlin is awesome. And make your way to the suggestions that Minnie has said. And then why not visit Potsdam? Anything deeper than that, go with a friend or go with a German. Minnie, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you so much. It was a great evening and a great talk.
Yes, and I'm glad we could have a drink virtually. And so please like this video, please subscribe, please show some love, because we are willing to go the extra mile. All right.
See you soon.